We got John trained.
Please don't kill the messenger here. I just want to say something with respect to the budget process and the oversight process of this August body. My history began as a civil and freedom fighter, fighting for economic and social justice. And so it's a part of my DNA to still be on the front line of that advocacy. And I really don't know why the NAACP and the Urban League and the African American Chamber and those kinds of organizations are not here making this petition. But I just want you to be mindful as you have oversight for the great organizations that you fund and the primary funders are, that you ensure that there is economic justice, that there is equal representation, that there is an equality in their organizations. The county has an incredible and stellar record of inclusion and diversity and ensuring that there's economic opportunity for all. And there's an old expression that says, if you're not at the table, you are the meal. Well, I'd like to augment that if you're not at the table, you don't get any of the food. And so in far too many cases, I don't find that there is African-American presence at board levels, at staff levels, and in vendor opportunity and access. And I use links and the library and the History Center as primary examples of that, where there is almost no outreach. There's no advertising, there's no marketing, there's not a lot of input and participation from particularly the African American community in those organizations. So I ask that as an oversight, that you all be mindful of this important ingredient that provides some economic reciprocity, that provides equal access and opportunity. And I just know that your hearts and your spirits are in the right place. And I just don't know if there is a direct mechanism that's in place right now in order to monitor that kind of activity. And again, as a final note, I'm so happy to see that this special grant funding is going to be available to smaller groups and organizations. Certainly those that I work with, particularly the Holden Heights Neighborhood Association, really needs capacity building and capability that is going to be furthered by this effort. So I ask your consideration for this perspective and point of view.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know it probably is just one individual, but I do want to comment when you mentioned links. As chair of links, we did hire Edward Johnson. I think you might have been here yesterday, or perhaps not, when he came in and visited with us. He was here before, and after 3 years in Atlanta, he's back. So I look forward to having this conversation with him about the leadership within links and its diversity. And we'll take into consideration your comments also about the library and the History Center.
Well, thank you. I mean, as a matter of fact, I know Mr. Johnson pretty well. I've been talking with him pretty incessantly since we arrived, because we have many of our stations that have not been maintained in the past, looks like 20 years. And I keep advocating that, the city beautiful certainly ought to be reflected in our stations. And if you look around, even when I went to lunch yesterday and I walked over to Central, there's a station right here in Osceola and Pine, and the boards are rotting and it's not been repainted and all of those kind of things. So I kind of stay on that.
What did you say, Commissioner Sebastian?
Are you talking about the wooden benches?
Yes, well, and the whole benches, stations.
Well, the wooden benches,
they're not been painted.
The wooden benches are actually a non-for-profit organization, so they are not directly connected to links. It's a non-for-profit that puts out these benches, and then they make money off of the advertisement. So that's a different organization when you're talking about the wooden benches. I just want you to know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
But we'll need to look into that also, because we have some control over the vendors and the nonprofits that are putting out the benches. So we'll look into that. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.